Hi everybody! Welcome back to the Aspiring Home Cook with me, Trisha. In today's video, I'm going to show you how I make my date and walnut cake. This cake is perfect to have for tea time. It's perfect for if you're expecting visitors. And it's even great to have on hand around the festive season. It makes a great addition to a Christmas platter. I know it's a little early to be talking about Christmas sweets just yet, but hey, you can never be too prepared for the holiday season. Before we move on to the recipe, if you're new here and haven't done so already, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Once you do, click on that little bell icon right next to it so that you get notified every time I upload a new video. So let's go on over to the kitchen and make some delicious date and walnut cake. Now for the cake we're making today, here are the ingredients you're going to need. 200 grams of walnuts, 100 grams of dates, 1.5 cup of all-purpose flour, 100 grams of butter, 1 cup of sugar, 3 eggs, 1 teaspoon of soda bicarb, and a teaspoon of vanilla extract or some vanilla bean paste. We're going to start off by prepping our walnuts and our dates. Chop up the walnuts into smaller pieces and pit and chop the dates as well. Now in a large bowl, add the chopped walnuts and sprinkle the soda bicarb over it. Give it a little bit of a stir and you're going to add in your sugar. This is a very fine grained sugar, so I can just add it in by itself. However, if the sugar that you get is grainy, just powder it in a dry grinder first. And I'm now going to add the butter to the bowl. To this, I'm going to add 1 cup of water that I've just boiled. Stir everything through well just to make sure that the hot water is coming into contact with all of the ingredients. This will soften the dates, melt the sugar as well as the butter down, and make it much easier to add to your cake batter. And you're just going to leave this aside to stand till it comes to room temperature. While that mix is resting, this is a great time to actually prep your cake tray and line it with parchment paper. I forgot to do it at this stage, so I'm going to do that a little later. Once your mix comes to room temperature, using the back of your spatula, if there are any bigger chunks of butter still left in that mix, just gently press them against the side of the bowl and they should melt down and dissolve fairly easily. So I'm going to give it one little stir like you've seen here, and we're ready to proceed with the rest of our cake batter. Into the bowl of my stand mixer, I'm going to add the eggs and the vanilla. And you're going to whisk this till everything becomes nice and light, creamy and frothy. Start slow first and then you can gradually increase the speed. The mix is super light, creamy and frothy like you can see here. So I'm going to stop mixing this right now. And we're now ready to add it to our mixing bowl. I'm going to do this in 3 parts, so I've got about 1/3 of that mix in here. Initially, it'll seem very loose and fiddly. Stir that all really well and add in 1/3 of the flour. Now, at the beginning, this will feel a little awkward and might get a little lumpy. To make this process a little easier, switch to a whisk. That will break up any lumps of flour in your batter. Give it a good whisk until all that flour has incorporated well. Now I can see there are no more lumps. I'm ready to add my next lot. So I'm going to now add in about another 1/3 of that egg and vanilla mix. Mix that through. Add in another 1/3 of the flour and stir that through as well. This process does get a little easier once more of the flour has incorporated. So at this point you can choose to use either the whisk or the spoon, whatever you're more comfortable with. And now it's time to add the remainder of your egg mix. Now there is a fair amount of flour in your batter now, so you don't want to overmix it. You're just gently going to stir this in just until everything has combined. And you can see that at this stage the process gets a little easier. I'm now going in with the rest of my flour and I'm going to gently fold that into the mix as well. Now at this stage your batter is almost ready. I can see that the flour has completely incorporated into the mix, so I'm going to stop mixing it at this point and I'm going to add the chopped walnuts. And you're just going to fold those walnuts into the mix very gently like you can see me do here. Your batter is now ready, and since I forgot to prep my cake tray before, I'm going to go ahead and line it with some parchment paper. I'm just using a little bit of oil to secure everything in place. You can use butter instead. And once you've got your paper set, you're just going to lightly grease the paper, either using some neutral flavored oil or butter. And you're going to pour your batter into your cake tray now. Gently tap your tray on your counter a couple of times to eliminate any air bubbles. And I'm now going to put this in an oven that's preheated to 180 degrees. Now, typically, if you're baking this in a round or a square cake tray, it takes about 30 to 40 minutes. However, a slightly smaller loaf tray that yields a higher cake takes about 50 to 60 minutes. That's how long it took me this time around. You can check to see if your cake is done by piercing it with a skewer. And if it comes out clean, you know your cake's ready. So I'm just going to leave this aside to cool down before I can cut into it. Once the cake is at room temperature, using that excess paper, lift it out of the tray, and you see how easy it is to take the cake out of the tray now. It's got a beautiful rich brown color. It's a slightly darker colored cake than your typical sponge cake because of the dates in it. And you can see that it has baked evenly on all sides. I cannot wait to cut into it. Just using a gentle sawing motion like you can see me do here, slice the cake. This helps cut through the walnuts really easily. And have a look at that. This cake is chock full of dates and walnuts and is absolutely beautiful. And while you can definitely enjoy it on the day you bake it, I somehow feel that this cake tastes even better the next day. So go ahead and try this recipe out. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. I hope you enjoyed today's video, guys. If you did, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and share it with family and friends that you think might enjoy it too. As always, I'll leave a link to the recipe down in the description box below just for you. Thank you so much for watching today. I'm going to see you really soon with another delicious recipe. So till then, take care. Bye.